Hey guys, and welcome to Noneother. Chrisora here with the namesake of the channel, Talos.
What's up, guys?
That direction. There we go. What's up? What's up, Talos? It's been a while.
I know it's been like a hot maybe 1 hour or so before our last video that we just uploaded. If you guys haven't already seen it, that of course is the actual reaction for that video. Obviously, of course, if you guys haven't already seen our previous video, the actual reaction for the trailer, definitely check that out. Linked, of course, in the description as well as in the top left corner of one of the cards. But today, it's all about the breakdown of course, that said trailer, No Way Home, the teaser trailer released by Sony.
Yeah, released at CinemaCon. Something people have been asking for months. And Sony have definitely trolled us. They've posted pictures of actual trailers, strung us along, and then there was obviously a big leak. But before we get into the breakdown, if you like this video, do care to give it a like. You leave a few comments down below on your thoughts on the Spider-Man trailer. And also give a subscribe for all the great content coming up. And please do check out the other Spider-Man videos. There's something different in each one. So, if you didn't know, the trailer actually leaked a bit beforehand. We did a lot of coverage on this, including a small YouTube short about how the leak happened with the information we had when it broke, and then also a reaction to the leak itself, without showing any footage. It is a good video, though. There's a lot of me going, oh. Wasila Lamucci.
But today, of course, we're going to be doing the full breakdown, almost like a scene-by-scene, slow motion of like all the nitty-gritty stuff of that trailer, because there's a lot. It's actually a pretty long teaser trailer at a 3-minute mark, so a lot to cover.
Okay, so if you did actually watch my reaction to the breakdown, I noticed a little watermark saying Wasilia Lamauchi. Wasilia Lamauchi is actually a massive VFX artist for big movies. We really don't know how this leaked. We don't know if it's maybe her kids got a hold of it. Or
from the leak, it did sound like they were like teenagers, like around that age group. And
yeah.
I don't know, it's a possibility.
Yeah. In the breakdown, I would like people to know it was at 5 a.m. So when I'm going, oh, these people seem to know about the movie, that's my brain going, I have no clue what I'm saying anymore. Like, we do joke about it, about like, oh God, please let me go. But genuinely, my brain was looking for anything in that leak. And yeah, so looking back on it, it does seem like it's teenagers. 100% my fault. But there is something else interesting with the watermark. There's another little part of the watermark underneath the Wasilia part that says Edward Rose. And that is a superhero theorist podcast thing. And so it seems that this version of the trailer got leaked from their end of things. Now, what's worrying about that is we don't know how the trailer went from Wasilia to Edward Rose. If this was an official distribution, because of the unfinished effects, it really doesn't seem so. Hopefully it's a case of someone wasn't leaking these things. Edward Rose Twitter, I know when all this went down, he deleted everything, which makes him seem very guilty. But anyway, that covers everything else about the leak that we didn't really quite know last night. So, let's move into the trailer breakdown. But before we move into the trailer breakdown, we have merch. Did you know we have merch? Talos, we have merch.
Oh yes, of course. Right now, of course, with the What If series happening in, of course, Disney Plus, we have the Captain Carter display. We're actually working on some future designs coming up. It's not quite revealed quite yet, but definitely if you guys want to support the show, and of course, it goes right back into all these videos that we do, and of course, we appreciate any support that goes our way by checking out that merch link in the description.
Yes, look at the Captain Carter shirt. Not only is it a shirt, but you can also wear it on a hat, you can wear it on your bodice, you could wear it on your skirt, you can wear it on your cup, you can wear it on anything. Yeah, and be sure to keep checking back because we will have more designs coming up.
But yes, breakdown time. All right, let's talk about this scene by scene.
So, I said this in the actual reaction video, but I bloody hate when they do those mini trailers before the actual trailer. I get it's for the YouTube algorithm and stuff like that, but it's just annoying. Side note aside, let's get into this. So the trailer starts.
So yeah, this is one of the more iconic like top-down scenes from other Spider-Man movies. I'm not sure which movie were you thinking? Was Spider-Man 1 or 2?
No, Spider-Man 3. There's a scene where the symbiote comes to Earth, and you can see MJ and Peter in Central Park looking up at the stars. And it's MJ and Peter looking up at the sky. It may be a reference, it may not be, but it was significant enough that it caught my eye. So, she's got a newspaper that says Spider Minions. Now, it's really hard to make out. It doesn't look as though it says Daily Bugle. Peter, in hats. Yeah, that text looks like the New York Post. Because in this version, as we saw with J. Jonah Jameson, the Daily Bugle seems to be more of like an Alex Jonesy type show, like it was in the Spider-Man PS4, PS5 video game.
Welcome to Just the Facts with J. Jonah Jameson, alerting you to the threats you don't even know about. I've heard reports of Spider-Man hovering around radio towers. Is he hacking into all our conversations?
Oh, look at this. This is a good one. Some suggest that Parker's powers include the male spider's ability to hypnotize females.
So the male spider's ability to hypnotize females. Spider-Man, have you got some explaining to do?
Yeah, exactly.
The banter between these two is really good.
I like their chemistry, for sure.
I said this in the previous breakdown, but again, I really like how exasperated Peter Parker is here. It's now time for some really interesting footage. When we previously saw the leaks, I incorrectly assumed that this was footage from Far From Home of him and MJ swinging through the city. But actually, this is the aftermath of the reveal. Straight when the post-credit scene of Far From Home ended, this is what happened. Peter Parker had to escape with MJ.
Yep. Because obviously everybody knows he's Spider-Man, so like he needs to escape. And he saved the one person that he cared about at that time that's close by, and of course that's MJ.
Yes. While
and look at that too. In the very background, you see it in his freeze frame here. You see J.J. Jameson.
Yeah.
In all the frames.
In all of the screens. It's so menacing.
In all of the screens. Yeah.
It's amazing how much someone was able to Photoshop that so quickly. Considering it was just revealed. But again, it is just a good shot showing it's all been revealed. Speaking of things being revealed, should we talk about the plot synopsis a bit? So the plot synopsis for this really builds up on this idea. Let's have a look at it. For the first time in the cinematic history of Spider-Man, our friendly neighborhood hero is unmasked and no longer separate his normal life from the high stakes of being a superhero. When he asks for help from Doctor Strange, the stakes become even more dangerous, forcing him to discover what it truly means to be a Spider-Man. So a lot of interesting stuff there. Obviously we'll talk about the Doctor Strange stuff and what it means to be a Spider-Man later on. But yeah, I like that it seems that the main conflict is actually building up on the post-credit scene of Far From Home. You know, these movies, they need consequences. They need to follow up on them. And it seems that they actually finally are.
And I do like the idea that this directly right after the movie. So if you were just watching like back to back of the movies,
yeah, it's nice that it does build back to back. That you can just watch Far From Home and go straight into No Way Home. It doesn't seem to be building on any filler that you would need to watch any of the MCU stuff that's happened since Far From Home.
Public Enemy #1. So you got arrested here.
I really like that the consequences for this are the drones that Peter Parker did actually have control over because Tony Stark gifted them to him. And once again, Tony Stark is the cause of Peter Parker's misfortunes. He did it in Homecoming when he neglected Peter the whole time and also created the villain in that movie. And then he did it again in Far From Home. And right now Peter's arrested because of you, Tony. You're dead. You're not supposed to be doing this.
Poor Peter Parker.
But it is an interesting angle to how Peter is actually being framed for Mysterio's murder, isn't it?
Now, pause there. Like, what does his name say? Go back. What does that stand for?
Yeah, it does say DODC. Yeah, I guess that's the Department of Damage Control. Damage Control, of course, we saw in Spider-Man Homecoming. They're the reason why Vulture lost his job at the start of that movie.
Big time. Yeah, I'm not sure who that person is. I don't think that's Happy because it's judging from his arm hair here. I don't think that's Happy.
Judging from this man's arm hair, judging from his build, it doesn't quite seem to be Happy. So maybe he is dressed pretty snazzily. He is carrying a bunch of files. Is it maybe a stretch to believe that this could be Peter Parker's lawyer entering the scene? Matt Murdock,
that's
Charlie Cox, Daredevil. Are you in the MCU again? Which does mean one big thing about a big Spider-Man villain, right, Talos?
Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
I'm thinking what you're thinking. Kingpin,
Yeah.
played by Vincent D'Onofrio. Maybe if Charlie Cox is involved, he could be involved in this project or in a future Marvel project. It'd be really cool to see Spider-Man go up against that version of Kingpin.
So obviously everybody knows Devil in Disguise, apparently. So because everyone thinks here that he killed and sent out those drones, so obviously he's evil.
Oh, whoa. And if you look at this shot, who is that in the
reporter?
bottom left corner? The reporter.
Yeah.
The school reporter. There she is.
So I feels like a lot of this like trailer so far is the beginning of the movie.
Yeah. I definitely think that this could all be the first act of the movie. I don't think they showed anything too far into the movie. And look at that. Peter Parker, Devil in Disguise. It seems a bit childish, this sign for an old man to be holding. Especially he's got a wedding ring on, so it's old married man, but okay. Yeah. You do you, bro.
People really hate him. People really hate him.
Yeah.
And it's not just Peter, but like most of his friends too.
Yeah. There's a line later on in this trailer where he's saying other people are getting hurt. You can see MJ and Ned are all getting the hate that Peter is also getting.
Yeah. So
it seems that he's calling her from the police station. So we're very much seeing this movie in order almost.
Mm-hmm.
WYPE. What would that be? Oh, it's just a news channel. So for this shot of Peter Parker and MJ up on top, they're being followed by a news helicopter, the WYPE. It's weird that they didn't go with the WHIH, with the WHIH, which Marvel... With the WHIH... with the WHIH, which Marvel typically goes for as the MCU news source. It's a bit weird. I'm wondering if this is what happens after he escapes from that scene in Far From Home. This is probably where he's picked up by the police.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, before, because obviously the next scene here, you see both of them in the ledge here, so they got trapped.
Yeah.
I'm sure after this scene, that's when we get into the scene where he's actually in jail.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can see by MJ's outfit, it is the exact same one as she was wearing earlier. And presumably in the post-credit scene of Far From Home. Need to double check that.
So he went back to school still.
So it seems to be that Peter is let go. They probably don't have enough evidence. Or maybe his amazingly blind lawyer is what sets him free. If they go with Daredevil, please go with Daredevil. But this shot, it really reminds me of Spider-Verse, where Miles Morales is walking through the corridor, and remember he thinks everyone's looking at him and laughing at him.
Everyone knows.
But this one's, they're literally looking at him and recording it.
Yes.
Oh, man.
This seems to be someone coming into Aunt May and Parker's apartment.
Yeah, maybe to take him away, maybe. They're interrogating all his family members and friends.
And Aunt May looks as good as ever, even while being interrogated.
Of course, little thirsty Chrisora. This is like back in the school, I think. Mascot in the background.
You can see there's like a little coffee thing. It might be in the cafeteria.
So this takes place before Halloween, I would imagine, then, because of the decorations.
Well, there was rumors that there could be stuff set around Christmas time, which I always thought was very weird because they go on their summer vacation in Far From Home. Maybe there is a good bit of a time skip showing Peter having to deal with being a celebrity. Again, it really shows a good juxtaposition between Peter Parker and Tony Stark. Tony Stark says,
I am Iron Man.
And while the press does flood him, he is able to handle it. The celebrity life doesn't bother Tony Stark, but it does Peter Parker because it's not what he's used to. Yeah, and it just makes him really uncomfortable.
Obviously, throughout the entire movie, he's trying to hide his identity. Like, he always referred to himself as Spider-Man, not Peter, for the most part. But, yeah.
And I think this is a really good follow-on from Far From Home, where Peter Parker felt he had the whole burden of the world on his shoulders to be the next Iron Man, when he realized he just needed to be the next him. You know, he's the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. He's there to protect New York, not the whole world. And maybe having his identity revealed will make more people want to rely on him, same as they did with Tony Stark and Captain America. Obviously, the Halloween decorations set him off, thinking about Doctor Strange, and we see the Sanctum Sanctorum.
Yep. He's almost like the focal point now of like driving the plot forward is in this location.
I love that the Sanctum Sanctorum is all snowy. I guess this is kind of confirmation that some of this is happening around Christmas.
Yeah, either that or Doctor Strange loves snowy environments. He's pretty much like the male version of Elsa.
A really interesting thing when it comes to Doctor Strange in this movie is Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is obviously releasing after this. And that is being directed by Sam Raimi. Sam Raimi directed the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies, so he did have a lot of creative input on this. Same as how James Gunn had some creative input on Endgame and Infinity War with the Guardians, Sam Raimi has input in here when it comes to Doctor Strange. And maybe some other characters.
Maybe.
Let's see.
And the one thing I really like about Doctor Strange here is the fact he's wearing like a hooded sweater, and he still has his cape over everything. It's like, I get cold too. I get cold too.
I love how cozy it all looks. This whole fireplace setup really reminds me of Sherlock, which also played by Benedict Cumberbatch.
Please, we're safe to have the universe together. I think we're beyond you calling me sir.
Okay, Steven.
That feels weird, but I'll allow it.
And also a nice little reference to the previous events of the MCU with Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah, with the whole name thing.
I'm Peter, by the way.
Doctor Strange.
Oh, you're using your made-up names. I'm Spider-Man then.
The one thing I will say real quick is like, because of Tony Stark being away, is Doctor Strange not going to be the next fatherly figure?
What do you mean Tony Stark being away? He's dead.
He might come back. He might come back as a voice. We don't know that.
He's dead.
No, he will come back. He will come back. With Tony Stark being dead, is Doctor Strange not going to be the father figure for Peter Parker here?
Well, he's gone from Iron Boy Jr., and now it's time for him to be Doctor Strange Jr. Of course, we are seeing a Spider-Man Doctor Strange in What If coming up soon. We get a small look at Peter Parker in like a strange new black suit. I love when he's escaping here. He does a weird little wee hop. I wonder if it's a case of maybe everyone forgets who this Peter Parker is. Nobody knows who he is, and that's why he's freaking out.
Oh, yes, because later on in the scene, we kind of explain that. Like, everybody's going to forget who you are.
Maybe they don't just forget he's Spider-Man. Maybe they forget who Peter Parker actually is.
Interesting. That's a twist.
Again, we're seeing him and MJ trying to escape after the post-credit scene here. You can once again see by the outfit and the suit Peter Parker is wearing.
Yep. So this is before the bridge scene, I would imagine.
Don't cast that spell.
So we see Wong trying to warn Strange not to cast the spell.
It looks like he teleported in, like he portaled in.
But he does seem to leave pretty quickly. What I'm thinking is Wong is slated to appear in Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi? Shang-Chi? I don't know.
Well, however you pronounce it. But he is slated to appear in that, so maybe the reason why he's only popping in and out could be related to the events of that movie. We'll have to see in about a week and a bit when that movie comes out. And be sure, once again, to hit that subscribe button, because we will have a review of that coming out around that time.
I won't.
But I will. So he leaves.
So Doctor Strange gives a nice little wink there to Peter Parker. We've seen a few little winks in this current phase of the MCU with Agatha Harkness and Loki.
They are the people causing the multiverse.
Agatha, of course, awakened Wanda as a Nexus being. Again, a big thing with the multiverse.
At the end of Loki, Sylvie actually killed Kang the Conqueror, causing another split in the multiverse. So all these characters are linked together to create this big multiverse of madness that eventually will lead into Doctor Strange movie, I would imagine.
So it's really curious here. Now, one might think, yeah, Peter Parker's insecurities here, you know, his whole relationship with MJ is going to be over because she won't remember. His friendship with Ned was strained enough until Ned figured out he was Spider-Man. Aunt May was really worried about him because of the Tony Stark program. Him being Spider-Man is what made them very understanding to a lot of the issues of the life of Peter Parker.
Exactly.
Tom Holland's Spider-Man has never really had to deal with those issues, like how Tobey Maguire did, for example, or Andrew Garfield did. So this is kind of really him going to have to explore that if they've all forgotten that. But I do think there's a possibility of a red herring here. Perhaps.
What's that?
Perhaps Peter's insecurities isn't what's causing Doctor Strange's spell to go haywire, and it's obviously the events of Loki and WandaVision.
So it's almost like a lot of portals like going in and out of itself. You know what this kind of looks like? It's almost like he's trying to, well, we kind of already discussed this earlier, but he's definitely altering the current dimension. So it's almost like they're teleporting to a dimension where certain events didn't occur, and that's how he's able to forget, per se, because he's in a different universe.
We obviously saw in Loki the singular timeline, and that one big circle around Doctor Strange really reminds me of that. So it seems like maybe he's trying to alter the timeline or go to a different timeline.
Doctor Strange has the ability to see multiple timelines, and with that being said, he can actually pinpoint an exact timeline of where people aren't able to remember Peter Parker as Spider-Man. So from the way the rings are kind of flowing around them, it's almost like he's trying to find and fine-tune the timeline to suit their specific needs. And also in this particular freeze frame you have going on right now, it also kind of reminds me of like the place the Soul Stone takes you, like kind of like that purple U background with that rock in the background. It looks like a rock anyway.
Doctor Strange looks really drained right here. I think it might just be the color of him, but am I allowed to say that? But he does look a bit. He looks a bit zombie-ish. It's a Christmas movie.
Look at the left here. Is that the buildings are moving?
The buildings are moving, and we saw buildings move in Doctor Strange. There's also a bit of breakage in the sky that you can kind of see. It looks like broken glass, and it reminds me of, again, the way the sorcerers have their own little wee world in Doctor Strange.
But then how is Peter Parker in there?
The shot of the city and him falling really reminds me of Spider-Verse with Miles Morales. What we see here, well, one, we see a Daily Bugle van in the corner. But in the background, what is that, Talos?
It was like a lightning bolt.
A lightning bolt coming out of a sandstorm. Is that a hint of some of the villains in this movie? We know Electro is confirmed.
Yeah, big time.
Played by Jamie Foxx once again. But could that be Sam Raimi's Sandman or a new version of Sandman?
Yeah, look at all that sand, yeah.
I don't like sand.
Yeah, it definitely seems like Doctor Strange is really trying to teach Peter a lesson for messing with stuff.
I guess so.
Perhaps this is an evil version of Doctor Strange. Maybe there's an evil version in the Sam Raimi universe. There is obviously that little hint to Doctor Strange in that movie.
Doctor Strange.
That's pretty good. But it's taken.
Another funny coincidence, that's the movie where Doc Ock appears. Which Peter Parker also has to stop a big train crash. So, could be something else, but we'll get to that in a bit. So we're talking about how Peter is in the whole Sorcerer's world. How is that happening? Well, we actually see it right here.
Yes.
Doctor Strange knocks Peter back, similar to what happened to him when he had his awakening as a sorcerer. And perhaps that's why we're seeing Peter with all the buildings warping around him and such. You can see when Strange Soul knocks Peter that he does have his bangs. However, earlier on in the trailer, his hair isn't quite the same. Apart from a shot of Doctor Strange on his own in some sort of a cavern, where again he has his bangs, but when Peter comes to visit him, his hair is a bit different. Maybe it's Mephisto.
Interesting take.
Maybe he's disguised himself as Stephen Strange in order to trick Peter Parker and somehow open up the multiverse.
Interesting. Obviously, we might be stretching on that theory, but possible.
This is probably Doctor Strange teaching him a lesson the best way he knows how.
I guess so, yeah.
So we see a re-emergence of the Iron Spider suit, where there seems to be a big highway sequence.
It's hard to tell where this takes place in the movie.
Considering he's in the Iron Spider suit, I'm gonna guess this is around the middle-ish of the movie. This is probably where we start seeing our first taste of the villains. Of course, there's definitely hints that Peter Parker is gonna get a new suit in this movie, so we see a lot of people hunting down Happy Hogan. Yeah, Happy ain't doing too good.
Yeah, it might be because he's been helping out Spider-Man, so yeah, we're gonna chase you down.
And also, you know, he has so many connections to Tony Stark.
And oh yeah, and those drones. Yep.
This isn't an Easter egg we found ourselves, but people were wondering what is happening here. This seems to be a big creature that jumps out at Peter. And everything CBM on Twitter brightened the footage, and it seems like this might be the lizard. Rhys Ifans' lizard, to be exact, from the Amazing Spider-Man movie.
Ooh.
So, if you're keeping up, that is an appearance of Sandman from the Raimi movies, Rhys Ifans' lizard from the Amazing movies, Electro from the Amazing movies, and again, we have another shot of Sandstorm and Lightning.
Together.
And what other villain could we have?
Oh. What do we have here?
We hear that little laugh. Look at it! It's a Goblin bomb! Green Goblin is seemingly confirmed. Is it Willem Dafoe? We don't know. Do we? I don't know. Do we know, Talos? Do we? And we hear Doctor Strange say, "Be careful what you wish for, Parker." Again, he sounds a bit sinister here.
I know he sounds kind of evil, right?
Yeah, it's really interesting. It seems like Doctor Strange is going after Peter through a lot of this trailer. Maybe this is more hints to that Mephisto theory. Maybe Peter's going to have to reveal to him, "No, you did this with me." And then he realizes, and that's when they're going to have to team up. We'll have to see. This seems to be the start of that bridge battle that we saw with the pumpkin
Yeah,
bomb,
that too.
and where he was in the Iron Spider suit.
And look at this.
There they are.
Those
The
tentacles.
claws crashing into the ground, very reminiscent of when they plunk into the ground in Spider-Man 2 as he's going up to the cafe.
And there he is,
And
confirmed.
there he is, Alfred Molina, back as Dr. Octopus. Why is he a villain? Who knows? Last we saw him, he was a good guy, so...
I will not die a monster.
Is this the same? Maybe it's a variant, an evil variant, but still. It's really nice to see such a beloved character being played by the actor from the Raimi movies.
That is crazy. Yeah.
And again, a follow-on from that scene in the car, Peter Parker in his suit, looking at what's happening on the highway, facing off against possibly Green Goblin and Doc Ock.
Maybe, yeah.
From the Raimi movies, maybe. And he turns into the Iron Spider suit, which we saw earlier in the trailer. And this is why earlier in the breakdown we said this is probably where the villains are introduced to Peter. And now that we've broken down everything in the trailer... So massive spoilers right here. Skip ahead to this timestamp if you don't want these spoilers, and we'll give our final thoughts on the trailer and wrap things up. But if you want the spoilers, we're jumping into it in now. So, we're going to talk some recent leaks that came out. We can't show these on screen, so we're going to show footage from previous Spider-Man movies. But we did actually see some leaked screenshots of Doc Ock, Willem Dafoe, and Jamie Foxx Electro.
Yes.
So, that is two actors that we'd already had previously confirmed, and one actor. I know we heard the laugh in the trailer, but that is full confirmation. Willem Dafoe is in this movie.
Oh, damn.
Yes, the best actor for Green Goblin. By far.
Pathetically predictable.
And I like this whole idea of the multiverse, because now you can actually pick the best actors that people like from other movies to appear in this current movie.
Yeah.
That
or in
is-
the MCU in
yeah.
general, not just this one.
Yeah, exactly.
But there was one more leak, and this is a major one. Obviously, there have been so many rumors throughout the months of are Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield in the movie. Well, with these leaked images, we can confirm, and people have checked, they've run them through Photoshop algorithms or whatever to make sure things not Photoshop. I don't know how it works.
I guess.
I don't do it. But people are saying that they've run it and they've checked it, and there doesn't seem to be any signs of Photoshop, which means that these pictures are probably legit, and they show Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield back as their respective Spider-Mans. There's a shot of the two of them together, and then a close-up of Andrew Garfield. Now, the shots we are using are, you know, not those actual pictures because Sony is taking them down everywhere. But if you look, you probably can find them, but this is just our best representation that we can give you right now.
Obviously, guys, thank you guys so much for watching this video. But before we go, obviously, check out our link in the description, the first link of our merch. Right now, we're working on some of the what if designs. The first one, of course, being Captain Carter. We're working through some of the rest of the designs for the what if series, as well as other series going on. Once we have time to actually filter those into it. But if you guys want to help support the show, definitely check it out.
Yeah.
Captain Carter could be on a t-shirt, on a mug, on a blanket, pretty much everything you could think of. And of course, like I said, it goes back in helping support the show.
Yeah, and we'll definitely have future designs coming soon. It's including a design inspired by No Way Home.
Yes. Stay tuned for that.
Yeah. Anyway, final thoughts on the trailer. It shows enough, in my opinion. It definitely feels like it's the first act of the movie. It doesn't seem to spoil a lot. There's a lot we can speculate of. Well, that seems like it's Electro and Sandman. We still don't know.
Yeah.
And
I mean, the only thing they actually really confirmed in this trailer was, of course, Doc Ock. That was for sure. Because it was already, I think it was last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was last year.
Where they actually had like a slip up or something with Doc Ock.
He revealed it in an interview a few months ago.
Yeah.
He even
the
like came
the
out
fact
and
that he revealed
confirmed it. Like,
yeah, the fact that he revealed it a few months ago, of course they're gonna have to show it here, but this is just to really stamp on that. Yes, he is confirmed.
Yeah, and yeah, whatever's going on with Peter Parker and Doctor Strange, there's a lot there to really uncover, and we'll try and uncover as much as possible as we get more trailers and such from No Way Home. We're not going to try and spoil too much of the movie for ourselves, but we can do a lot of speculation. Anyway, please subscribe. We've been all hands on deck bringing you this coverage since the leak first dropped last night.
Yeah, but that is pretty much all we got. Again, guys, definitely support us by checking out that link for our merch, and of course subscribing and liking this video, sharing it to others that want a kind of a breakdown of this trailer. And of course, we'll see more of it in the future.
Yeah.
Without further ado, that's all we got. Until next time. But of course, this is Talos.
And Chrisora swinging out. There we go. Swinging out instead of signing out, you see?
So corny.
Yeah, there's a thematic thing.